Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to another What I Eat in a Day. Thank you so much for continuing to log on and join me for fantastic days of food, and one which is actually very special. Today we're going to be having a meat-free day, so everything's going to be veggie, no meat at all, and I'm very excited about it. So I've already had breakfast, I'll insert that now. Again, most mornings start off with yogurt right now because I like lighter options, and obviously the weather's warm, so I want something that's gonna be nice and fresh. So I have some raspberries and some blackberries, that I got from Sainsbury's. So I'm just going to wash some of those, and then I'm actually having a different yogurt today, which I'm actually quite excited about. Surprisingly, I've not gone for fat-free. That's for a combination of a few reasons. The first reason is I'm on maintenance, so I'm not being overly strict, but also the flavours that they had fat-free of in Sainsbury's I wasn't a fan of, so I thought as a one-off this isn't gonna kill me too much. So I got this one, and this is the Rachel's Organic Greek Style Honey Yogurt, which I'm very excited about. However, I've not had this before, so I need to check what it's going to equate to in regards to points. Of course, it's going to be significantly higher than if it was fat-free, but again, I'm just going to roll with it. It's a bit of a treat. I'm hoping it'll be lovely and creamy and worth every single point. So what I'm going to do is get out my trusty app and see, and then we'll weigh it out in grams. Okay, so it's 10 points a serving, but I'm going to change that to grams because I'm not sure how much a point equates to. So I'm just going to grab out my trusty digital scales, which, by the way, are linked in the description because I get asked a lot about my scales and how I go about measuring everything. And I'll also link this bowl as well because I know I'll get asked a lot about it. So I'm just going to put myself out the serving that I would normally have, perhaps a teeny bit less, just because obviously it's not fat-free and I don't want to be having half the tub like I normally do. This is 8 points, which, to be honest, I'm perfectly happy to spend 8 points on this. And this is quite a deep bowl as well, so that's a nice glug of yogurt there. As you guys might be aware by now, I normally have some caramel on my yogurt, but sadly I've run out and I completely forgot to pick some up when I went to Sainsbury's, which was an epic fail on my part. So it's not going to be quite as delicious today, but I do have my trusty Demerara sugar that I like to add for a bit of crunch, and this again is going to add a nice caramelly flavour as well. So I'm going to put probably a little bit more of a generous serving than I normally would, just to get that caramel hit that I'm used to. And that is it. That is my lovely yogurt bowl, which I'm going to go and enjoy in the sunshine. And again, it's just a nice light option. I know you've seen me have berries and yogurt before, but it really is my go-to at the minute. And there we have it, guys. 8 points for breakfast. I don't track the Demerara sugar. Feel free to be more accurate, but I cannot wait to go and enjoy this coffee and gorgeously creamy yogurt in the sun. And for lunch, I'm having leftovers. I whipped up some homemade soup yesterday, which is basically a tomato, aubergine, peppers kind of situation. Very, very simple. I roasted the veg till it was all tender and caramelized and lovely, and then I popped it in the processor with some stock, veggie stock of course, and it was just delicious. And I'm having that with homemade bread, so I'm going to prepare that now. And then tonight we're going to make a burger because I've had a lot of requests to do a veggie burger, and we're going to make falafel burgers, which are Middle Eastern. I thought I'd keep going with that theme since you guys are really enjoying it, and falafel is one of my favorite things, but one that I've never made before myself, and one that I think will be ideal for light options for the weather that we're having, which is glorious. So I hope you all enjoy it. Give it a thumbs up if you do. Subscribe to see these every other day, and let's get on with the day. It's about an hour to lunchtime, so I've decided to whip up one of my iced coffees. I've showed you guys how I make this before, and this is just a batch that again I whipped up yesterday, so I'm going to have it with almond milk. The serving that I have is 2 points, so feel free to use whatever milk you would like, but almond adds a really nice taste, and also it's really low in regards to point value. And I would say the coffee concoction itself is about 2 points a serving, so again not too high. So I'm going to enjoy one of those before I have lunch, and it's just been a nicer option than having warm coffee at the moment. It's so frothy and creamy, it's really delicious, and this has definitely been doing the rounds on YouTube recently, and I am no exception. So I'm going to have a nice couple of dollops of that because I'm really in need of my caffeine. time to make dinner, and as mentioned before, I'm going to be making veggie burgers that come in the form of falafel. So these are falafel burgers. They are absolutely delicious, and if you've been to any Middle Eastern country, or a lot of different countries now, they're really popular, and then you may have tried something like this, but these burgers are delicious. This recipe I'm doubling, so I'm actually going to make 8 burgers because I want to put a few away in the freezer for a rainy day. So let me get you up to speed. I have 2 cans here. Again, you could just use the one of chickpeas. That's 400-gram tins, so 2 of those, 800 grams. I also have a nice handful of fresh parsley here. Try and use fresh, it really does make a difference, and try not to use dried. I have 4 tablespoons of plain flour, 2 onions and 4 cloves of garlic. So all I'm going to do now is finely chop these onions and garlics and get everything in the processor and get it all blitzed together. It's very, very simple. So I'm going to finely chop these just to give the processor an easier job. I'm not very good at chopping, so feel free to make them much smaller if you can. So now that that's all chopped and ready to go in the processor, I'm going to turn my attention to my spice blend. So I'm going to put this in the description box down below, but I have some ground cumin here and ground coriander. Now everything's chopped and ready to go in the processor, I'm going to turn my attention to my spice blend. So I have some dried cumin here, some dried coriander. The recipe will be in the description box. You can use harissa powder. I'm going to use Rose Harissa Paste because I think it adds to the authenticity, that Middle Eastern flavour. And of course I have salt and pepper, but check the description box for quantities. So I'm going to get all that mixed up and then it will all go in the processor. And I'm here by my door waiting for you. Closely misjudged the amount of ingredients that were here, so I've had to get out the big guns and get my big processor out because my Magimix just could not handle it. But it's no worries, I have my big one, and to be honest I've not used this in a while, so off the falafel. I've done so many of these as you've seen, and a lot of them are going to go away in the freezer, and I've sent a batch over to next door as well. I've done 2 kind of size differences. So I've done the burger sizes here, which Andrew and I are going to have for our dinner tonight, and then I've done smaller versions here that I think will be really fantastic for lunches with like pita bread, feta, olive, that kind of thing. So yeah, very happy about these. They taste delicious. I've already tried them. They are fluffy and soft on the inside with a bit of crunch, and outside they're all golden and crunchy and delicious. So they're just perfect. Honestly, they are so good. They've had the thumbs up from the neighbours as well, which is great. I hope you enjoyed it, especially considering the fact that it was a veggie version. It's something quite different for me. I do try to have a couple of veggie days throughout the month, but this one was particularly delicious because I managed to infuse comfort food into this, which I think is fantastic, in a way of showing you that you can eat really deliciously and keep the meat to a minimum, or even out like I've done today altogether. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Those falafels were incredible. The burgers, the patties themselves are 0 points. The only thing you have to factor in is the oil, which makes them such a friendly option on WW. The only thing I had to factor in was my chips, my mayonnaise, my cheese and my burger bun, which again was still minimal. And of course lunch was really low point value as well, but I put all the information to everything, what I ate, how many points it was, and also recipes in the description box, so do check that out. But thank you so much for watching. Give it a like to see more veggie versions of this from me, and I'll see you in the next one.